Lawrence Shankland lost sleep over Brugge penalty blunder as Hearts star reveals, "It's the lowest I've felt in years." Hurting Lawrence Shankland sat in the bowels of the Jan Bredel Stadium and felt as low as he's been in football. But it wasn't the abuse hurled from 300 visiting Hearts fans that hurt in Belgium last month. It was the pain he felt missing a penalty that could have gained his side a draw and halted a torturous goal drought. The Scotland striker ended that drought on Saturday with a double against a disappointing Dundee side that had stretched for a dozen agonising games without a goal. The worst moment in that run was when the Tynecastle skipper and last season's talisman stepped up late on from the penalty spot with a chance to level the Conference League game at Cercle Brugge. Not only did he blaze it over the top, Hearts fans then turned on the man who scored 33 for club and country last season. Afterwards, Shankland cut a distraught figure. But he refused to bite back against the fans, stressing he was disgusted with himself for missing it, and he turned to mental skills coach John Johnstone. Read more. Paul Merson rips through Ange for forcing Celtic style on Tottenham. This isn't Kilmarnock or Street Mirror. Read more. How Rangers can save Ange as Chris Sutton tells Tottenham fans what's coming. Shankland said, "It was a tough night. It was probably the lowest night I've had in a good few years in football. I felt sorry for myself for a couple of hours, and the next day I was ready to go again. I work mentally with a guy, John. I've worked with him for years, and there have been moments like I've gone through recently that you work with him to get through the tougher times. Football is pretty easy. When things have gone well, everything just seems to fall into a rhythm. But when you come across moments like that, you need to dig into what you've learnt over the years and back yourself, and be confident in the return. That's what I've had to do. It wasn't the abuse. It didn't bother me. It was more just missing the penalty and the way the game went for the boys. It wasn't anything to do with the crowd. I was just gutted at how the result went. It's more that feeling, like you've let your teammates down a bit. The run I had been on previously doesn't help that, because you've not really got much to back it up. There have been some difficult games out there, and you'll get stick, which is part of football, but you just need to grind through it. Days like today come around again, and you get yourself back, and all of a sudden everything looks that bit better. I imagine that night there was a good amount of beer drank out there as well. They're stronger than here as well. I heard it, and it's not ideal, but there's been times when they've been really good to me here as well. It's not something I'm worried about. Brugge was probably the lowest I'd felt in years. I didn't get much sleep. But the Aberdeen game came pretty fast. I got myself back out there and playing again. Sometimes that's the hardest part, just going out and making another mistake, daft as that sounds. So it was nice to see the ball finally land in the goal again. It was a good header for the first one. The second one just fell to me, and it felt like none of them had fallen to me like that. It's strange. I can't really put a finger on it, but it happens. Of course there's always that bit of relief when you've been on a dry spell. Shankland, whose booking means he is now suspended for Hearts game at Kilmarnock, linked up well with James Wilson, 17, who made his first start for Hearts. He could have had more goals than his brace, and he enjoyed the energy and work rate of his young colleague, ahead of the trip to face Copenhagen in the Europa Conference League. Shankland said, "He was excellent. He made a lot of really good runs in behind, forced defenders to give his throw-ins, corners high up the pitch. That kind of work can go unnoticed, but I said that to him. It doesn't go unnoticed by his teammates. It's brilliant work for the team, and he's done really well. We're all proud of him. To put on a performance that he didn't look out of place, didn't look nervous. He looked like he enjoyed it."